Okay, from the small computers to big ones. Hello, my name is Iurii Shchekochikhin. I'm software developer at Broadcom. I joined Broadcom, well, previously it was CA 5 months ago as an Eclipse RCP developer. And so the whole thing, like mainframes and TypeScript, was a whole new thing for me. So does anybody know how mainframes looks like and what is it? Yeah, okay. So basically, mainframe, it's a huge computer with good performance, and it should be reliable and focused on like I/O processing tasks, like bank transactions, and as I know, 70% of Fortune 500 use mainframe in their core businesses, and there's some data that I find in IBM website. It's like worldwide banks, like 50 of them, and 44 of them use mainframes. Also 10 from 10 insurance company are using them. So it's a big deal to support them. And one of the features of mainframes is that they have to be backward compatible with previous software that was written 50 years ago, so there is a set of limitations. Currently, most of the programs for mainframes are developing in Java, but there is still huge code base on COBOL and assembler. And so basically, okay. So to give you context, here's a so-called green screen. It console application, text-based. You can connect to mainframe and basically do everything. You can commit your code, you can write code there, you can use job subsystem and so on. And when new developer try to use it, it's like a reaction, oh my God, what is it? I don't know how to use it. And so I joined a team to work on basic Eclipse plugins, and we have set of them to help users with it. For example, we have a source called change management integration, and we have navigation tools and job subsystem interaction. What's the problem with Eclipse? I think it's already covered. It's hard to update the new version, and it's vendor specific, and Eclipse is not the idea of choice of many of developers. Our motivation was to help newcomers to start be productive on mainframes and to hide complexity of subsystems of mainframes that is there to make it easier to start work with mainframes. And also we want to address this problem with updating. So usually our customers have hundreds of developers that work on, for example, support sometimes new functionality, and just to deploy a new version of IDE is a very hard process, because you need to be sure that everything works everywhere, and you need some training to get through it. So we decided to give a try for Theia and Visual Studio Code. So we choose Theia because it's like cloud-based and we have all benefits of it. And Visual Studio Code is like most popular IDE based on the survey. And it seems like they're pretty similar and should works for us. So we decided to develop re-implement two of our plugins for these target platforms like source control management and navigation. Small brief note that there is no such thing like file in mainframe. So because of backward compatibility, there is data sets and they have slightly different structure, and to work with it through the console, it's not very friendly at the beginning, at least. And yeah, as I mentioned, it was totally new language, a totally new platform for us. And actually, we managed to do it in 3 months. So first month we were playing around, take a look what we can or can't do with these platforms. And next 2 months we just start to develop the product. And before I talk more about products, I want to say a couple of words about Zoe. Zoe, it's first big open source project in world of mainframes. Basically, it's a set of microservices that helps you to interact with mainframe subsystems. And there is an API mediation layer to simplify interaction with microservices. And there is also command line tools that you can embed at your building systems. Not embed, integrate your building system with the mainframe infrastructure to easier, so modernize the development for mainframes. And basically, there's a scope. We have mainframe, we have Zoe deployed there, we have API for source control, and it's still not under the Zoe, but it should be sometime in future. And we assume that developer has browser and maybe Visual Studio Code on his computer. And yeah, possibly the backend can run on a separate server, but it's not a problem to run it in virtual environment and mainframe. So yeah, so we plan to deploy 2 extensions for Visual Studio Code and for the backend, and they will interact with mainframe by REST API calls. Yeah, and the options to implement it was like first straightforward. We create 4 projects for each target platform with separate code base and just sit and do it. And seems like a good idea, but it's pretty the same extension, so it doesn't make much sense to have same logic in different places. So next idea is just extract common parts and reuse them. But at this approach, we basically have 6 projects, and 2 of them is harder to maintain because they use from different users and should be considered as so. So at some point, we decided to give a try this extension support. So we develop just Visual Studio Code extensions, and keep in mind that there is some limitations with Theia, and hopefully they will work well for both target platforms. Okay, one more challenge that we face that the server doesn't work well on Windows, at least when we start to deploy on that. I think there is a issue that was resolved, and we didn't try it again after that. But at that point, we can't test our extensions on Windows. And most of our developers have Windows. Yeah, so we came up with this schema, like we have Theia running in virtual environment. It can be virtual box for Windows 7 or Windows subsystem for Linux for Windows 10. It can be Docker. And we have shared folder to put plugins there. Developer works in Visual Studio Code, and after compile the plugin, you can test how it works in Theia right away. Well, sometimes it's required to restart Theia, but mostly it's reloaded on fly. And after we're sure that everything fine is for Theia, we test it, double check in Visual Studio Code. So the whole turnaround when we edit and see changes takes less than a minute, so it's dramatically increase our performance at this point. And well, we knew for then that this is how one of our extensions looks like. So we have a view container, we have this tree view, and we can download dataset and make some changes. There's a segment of Cabal program. I have no idea what it's about, but yeah. Like this. So one of the interesting challenge was that customers want to feel like they're editing dataset right away in mainframe. So they don't want to know about this process when we download data, we change it, and we upload it back and check if there is a collision, so on. Yeah, so we handle some events and try to hide it. Yeah, while we're implementing it, we face different problems. Actually, almost all of them are already known, and most of them was fixed in latest version. Some of them has workaround for us, so overall it was a pleasant experience to work with Theia. Yeah. So this is a quick one. If you have any questions. Yeah.
Why don't you try to use you're developing both the extension both for Theia IDE for the browser and for VS Code on the desktop. Why did you try Theia on desktop as well, so that the environment is more controlled, or you have less testing to do? And
so I'm not sure. I didn't try it closely, but is it possible to develop Visual Studio extensions from the Theia?
I mean, you want to create extensions for people to install inside Visual Studio Code, and also provide a broader version of this editor of the IDE. But why don't you stay in Theia in all the case for the desktop and the browser?
Sorry, I don't get the question.
So your extensions to develop COBOL application for the mainframe.
Yes.
You want to provide a VS Code extension.
Yes, that's right.
And you want to provide also a broader experience.
Yes.
So you choose to develop VS Code extension so that you can embed this extension in Theia in the browser and
yes.
VS Code on the desktop. Why don't you use like ARM, the desktop version of Theia, instead of trying to stick to VS Code for the desktop?
I don't have answer for these questions. This was like requirement from management. We need support both of them.
So we mentioned the ARM version of Theia. I forgot to mention that it's also designed to work for mostly for the embedded development. But we discussed also yesterday to actually look and help contributing towards the creating of the desktop version for Theia automatically. So that's something we discussed yesterday during the beer time. So we'll see if there's something we can do and give a little bit of our expertise in this area to help the community for that.
Thanks.
On one of the slides, you said you live with temporary limitations.
Yes.
By going with VS Code extensions, what do you mean by those temporary limitations?
Okay, first of them that we face, by requirements, our tree navigation should be in the same view controller as the Explorer. And we didn't manage to put it there, so we create new view container for it. At the version 06, there wasn't like these icons, and that was one of them. So just like small things that we have worked around.
So you are referring to limitations in Theia's implementation support for the VS Code API, or limitations on the VS Code API?
Support of Visual Studio Code API.
I see.
Yeah.
There were like issues on the last slide. I think there are limitations.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's not all of them, just the first that appears in mind when I prepare for presentation.
state of your? What's the state of the product? Is it beta, GA?
I say it's like alpha. Alpha. Yeah, but one of them we plan to open source, and about the second one, I don't know the plans.
And are you aware that IBM have created product that is very similar, also based on Theia, a cloud-based IDE for COBOL? Is there any kind of partnership or something like that?
Yeah, I'm not, but I think.
Okay.
Yeah.